Hello world and welcome back to my channel Honza's Collection, and in today's video I would like to show you Captain America from Avengers Endgame. It is a 1/6 scale collectible figure made by Hot Toys, and you can already see the box art and straight from the get-go I have to say that it looks amazing. It looks exactly like the previous box arts from the same line of Avengers Endgame figures by Hot Toys, which is great. We have this big A here, we have this beautiful art, so if you are the type of collector who likes to display the box arts as well, then definitely there is nothing else to do than just put it on the display because it looks great. Before we will move on, I have to say that we are talking about Avengers Endgame Captain America, which means that this is not D23 version of Captain America from Endgame, which is a figure which has been released some time ago, and it has been a little bit different than the current one, meaning mainly that the accessories were different. So you had some energy effect, you had Loki's scepter, and you also had the blue tesseract, which is not the case here, and also the figure itself looked a little bit different. So for example, these small silver parts were a little bit smaller, the neck was different and worse than what we have here, and also the body proportions were also slightly different. And there were some more details which has been changed since D23 has been released. So if you are considering buying this figure, just make sure that you are buying the right version, which is this one, because this is the final product. This is the type of Captain America that you want in your collection, because all these small things and small details which I have mentioned here has been improved from the D23 version. And if you don't believe me, you can also check out the YouTube channel called Justin's Collection. I'm a huge fan of his channel, as you can already see on my videos, and he did a very good comparison between these two types. So I just thought that it might be important for some people so that you will not be disappointed in the end. So then moving on to the side, it's also the same style of display as we had before. So nothing really new and special here, but it still looks okay. So regarding the box art, there's not much to criticize here. So if we will slide it aside, then we can see the figure. So let's open it and take a look. But before we will move on, I just want to point out on a couple of things here, because here in the instructions you can see that we have two head sculpts here, and this shows you how to change the head sculpts. And I have to say that this way how it has been created is absolutely terrible, because I have already tried to change the head sculpt to switch this one for this one, and it was a nightmare. And I was not able to do it with my bare hands, so I had to use some tools, and hopefully I didn't damage the figure. But it's like I don't know who had this idea to do it like this, because it's impossible to get it out and switch it for the newer one. So I'm actually curious if you had the same issue as I had, so please let me know down in the comments below if you were also struggling with this, because I think it's just terrible engineering by Hot Toys here, because that's just not how it should work. And speaking about it, how terrible some engineering here is, I also have to point out on the fact that if you want to display him with a shield, it's also done very very wrong, because these teeny tiny things are just terrible to work with, and also I think it's finally the time when Hot Toys should decide to switch the 1/6 scale joints packs right here for something better, because it's just terrible to work with. It's still like falling out of the hand, like the it's not able to be there, and sometimes you can break it, and it's just not cool. Like, for the price you are paying for this figure, like, it's just terrible that it is like it's just impossible to make it work like easily, because usually you have to spend like, I don't know, like 15 minutes maybe just to attach the shield. So that's just wrong. By the way, you can also detach the belt, as you can see right here, but I wouldn't do it. I can't imagine anyone that somebody would like to put it off. I don't know why, but you can if you want to. Alright, let's take a look on the accessories. Alright, so here is everything which you will get in the box, but we will put Captain America aside for a while, and we will focus just on the accessories here before we will move on. And first of all, I have to mention this beautiful shield. This is just outstanding. All the scratches and the dirt on it, it looks amazing. It looks exactly like in the movie when he was fighting the final battle with Thanos. So I think that they have done a really nice job. You can also see how the light is reflected by the shield. And speaking a bit of that, would you say that this is metal? You would be wrong. This is plastic. On one side, unfortunately, I would also love to see metal shield here. I think it would be more accurate. But on the other hand, some collectors are saying that it's better to have it plastic, because then you it's not as heavy, so it's not like putting your cap's hand down, and you will not destroy the joints inside of his hand. So, you know, there is some sense on it. So you can see how it looks. It looks amazing. The only part which I hate are these small parts which you have to unclick, put the hand inside, and then click it again. And it's a nightmare to work with, but the shield itself looks amazing. Then we have this second shield, and this goes back to the D23 version, because there these two things were different. They were over here and over here, which was not movie accurate. So then you were able to have his shield like this, while in the movie he has it like this. So they implemented some changes here, which is a good thing. It looks great, and I'm just happy that we have two shields and not just one with extra parts. So if you would be curious to see how it looks together, it fits, but it's you are not able to have the whole shield like together. There will always be some parts. Then the one thing which we should talk about is actually this accessory, because this head sculpt is accessory, but as you can see, I have already put it on the figure. And first of all, this head sculpt looks just outstanding on the figure and also by himself, because I think that you can clearly see Chris Evans right here. Like, from every possible angle you are able to see that it's just him, and I like it a lot. They have done a great job. The only thing which I don't like that much is the line above his ear, which goes all the way to his second ear, and I'm not sure how much it is visible on the camera, but if you will look close enough, then you will be able to see it, that it goes like from here to the other side, which is not as good, but what can you do? But still, we have plenty of options for the head sculpts here, which is great. So going to the second option, we have this new head sculpt, which is like this smaller part which you have to put there. You need to use magnet for it, and you also have to play with it a little bit because it's not as easy as it could be. So he looks like this. So this is a new head sculpt. Then we have this angry one, which we already know from the previous Captain Americas. So I just need to find a system how to put it inside, because it's also not as easy as it could be. So he looks like that he's sitting on the toilet. I don't like it that much, but you know, as you most likely will have him in some battle position, then it kind of makes sense to have him like this. And then the last option which we have here, the fourth one, actually is this calm expression. So yeah, it still looks like Chris Evans, I think, and I think it's great. Why not, right? And then we have this neck piece, which is absolutely terrible piece to get it out from the figure. Oh my god, I don't want to do it again. And then we have this extra hair, which is a nice touch. They did a good job with that. And then we have his helmet here. Like, as you can see, this is like really, it's not as sturdy as you might maybe expect. So you can move with it, he can hold it in his hand, and I think it's a nice touch that they have added this helmet here, because they absolutely didn't have to do it, but they put it there, and I'm happy that we have another accessory which we can use. Then we have this teeny tiny compass here, and once again, going back to D23 version, this compass has been much smaller in the D23 version, so it looked weird in his hand because it was just like Tamagotchi or something, but this is more accurate. So if you will put it into his hand, then you can see that the size is exactly how it should look like, which is great. You can also close the compass if you want to, but just be careful, and I don't know why you would do that, because if you will display him with this, then you absolutely want him to take a look on beautiful Peggy Carter, love of his life. So that's a nice thing. Then we have this part, which is not really the accessory. It is something which you have to put on his back, and then you are able to put a shield on his back as well. That's great. Then we have the couple of hands. So we have some fisting hands. It's okay. But if they would hold on the figure like better, then I would be even happier. Then we have the shield holding hand and the hammer holding hand. Then we have this open hand, and we have this pointing finger, which is also another beautiful accessory, because then you can put him to the pose Avengers Assemble. But as you will see, the restrictions on his suit is not allowing to point like naturally as we would like to have him. Then we have the base. There is nothing really special here, just a typical base which we have seen many times in the past, especially from Avengers Endgame line. So it's purple as all the different ones, which is good because then it matches with your whole collection. We have this big A, as we usually have, and because this suit doesn't have any extra name, we have just Captain America here, which is okay. I would be maybe slightly happier for the dynamic pole, but we have this crotch grabber, so we have to deal with that. And last but not least, we have Mjolnir here, and if you remember from the movie, it also had the important role in the final battle with Thanos, so it's great that we have it here. I like the way like it has been developed, meaning that I'm not I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but there are these small black sections on it, which makes it look a little bit more realistic than if it wouldn't be there, so I'm happy for it. And if you are wondering what kind of material this is, then I have to tell you it's plastic, unfortunately, but what can we do? And then here, that's how he can hold it if he wants to. So yeah, these are all his accessories, so let's take a closer look at Captain America himself. And here we have Captain America himself. And first of all, before we will start talking about the suit, I have to say that there is one key thing which has been improved from the past, and that's the fact that he has a new body, which is much more musculature than what he had previously on previous versions of Captain America. And if you remember, there has been a lot of them. All these previous Captain Americas had either like small shoulders or small chest part, or a different neck, like strange things basically everywhere, but now he looks great because as you can see, he has like all his muscles, like the proportions of the body are great, and it's because they took the inspiration from concept art Captain America, which has very similar if not the same body. So they implemented this here, and it was a great thing because even if he's standing just like he is without any accessories in the pure museum pose, he still looks like a hero, which I think is the type of the feeling which you want to have from your Captain America. And then we also have to talk about the suit itself, because I really like this design. It's more darker, it's not as vibrant, and it's also like a more like realistic to me, because the previous versions, like we had this one from Infinity War when he had this big beard, and it was all like way too dark. And then we have like the suit from the first movie, when there was like the colors were too light and too vibrant, so it was more like comic book accurate, but he looked a little bit too funny to me. And it was like screaming USA, which is something which you would expect from Captain America to do, but if you are not US and foreigner, as and I am not, then it's a bit annoying. So this is like more like that he's like calmed down, and he is not pushed to show everyone that he's like fighting for America. So I think it's more like likable. I thought that it should worth mentioning this as well. Also, then when we will go to the moving sections, then the arms go up to about there. The head can do pretty much almost everything you want to. Just on the side it's not as great, but then you also have to be careful about these parts right here, also on his elbow and also on his knees, because it could easily could not break, but it could like fall down from it, which is not something that you want. So also be careful, like if you will putting his arm like this, he can do like 90 degrees, he can do slightly more, but I wouldn't push it, because even though it's not damaging the suit itself, it could damage this part. So be careful with that. It's the same with legs, so they are going out to about there, which is not as much. I would expect more, and I don't really understand that, because this is much stiffer than it should be, which is strange. Then you can go with his legs to about there, which is good, and then we have double joints in the knees, a regular 6th scale joint down there, and also here as well, but it's not holding as good as it could. And his torso is able to do something like this, and if you want him on the other side, then it can go to about there. All right, so that's how he looks. And also, if you want to see him from the back, it's not bad, but the only part which I don't like is his area right here. I don't want to say the word, because the YouTube could delete me, but I don't want that. But I just think that this whole section is not as good as it could be. You can see that it just looks strange, and like I don't even know how to call it. Like, it just looks weird. That's, for the lack of the better word, I would say it like this. All right, so that's how he looks. So like the design and the colors and everything regarding his looks is amazing. The only problem which I have with him is the engineering on the inside and the limitations in his movement. So let's go to do some more things with him, which is compare him with different Captain America. It's not a fair comparison, because this Captain America on the left is from Diamond Select, and he cost me almost 8 times less than the Hot Toys one. So it's not really fair, and you can see that it's a whole plastic, but on the other hand, he's able to do this pose which this Captain America can't do. So think about it, but he's not able to do any different pose because it's a statue, and it's completely from PVC, so it really depends if that's something that you want or not. And also you can see that these colors are the ones which I was talking about before, the ones which I don't like that much. So now, if I'm not mistaken, this color scheme is called 2012 version, because we are also getting Captain America with these colors from Avengers Endgame as well. He has also Loki's scepter, and it's from the scene when Captain is fighting against Captain from the past. So yeah, it's not bad, but I think this Endgame final version much more. And then we have also this Captain, which is the one from the collector's edition of Marvel's Avengers, the video game from Square Enix, which has been released, I think, around 2 years ago, something like that. I know it was in September. The game itself was great for me. I know that a lot of people hated it, but I really enjoyed it. Even though like it was like a little bit like too same in the end, I still enjoyed the story and like the whole thing. So as you probably know, maybe you don't, these Avengers had different looks, so it was not movie accurate. They had different faces, different actors were speaking through them, and also they had different suits. So for example, this one has some parts from Winter Soldier, especially this star, but other parts are completely different. So you were not able to see this suit in any of the movies. But I think that overall it's a nice statue. The only thing is that the Captain America is way too small. If you think about it, like the most of it is like this stone and like this tomb or something. So that's like another version of Captain America. And then we also have this version, the concept art Captain America, which has been released as a celebration of 10 years of MCU movies. So it is a great looking figure. Like, as I said, the proportions are the best until this Endgame release, but he has one big minus, and that is the fact that even though that he is a great figure, he is not in any movies. So if you want to put him on your display with any other figures, you will always think about like, yeah, but it's not as movie accurate as I would like. So yeah, think about it if you want to have him. But other than that, if you don't have this problem, then it's a great figure which I can definitely recommend. So that's the comparison, and let's move to the final section. And here we have him, how he's sadly standing here and taking a look to the compass, to his love of his life, Peggy Carter. So that's one of the posts which we can have him there. And yeah, to conclude everything here, I still think it's a great figure, and it's most likely the one and only Captain America which you should have in your collection. I didn't get a chance to have all of them, but I've seen them on the other YouTube channels. I've seen the reviews and everything, and I do believe that this is the final Captain America with the Chris Evans head sculpt which we will ever going to get. There won't be another one, so don't sleep on it if you want him. And I think you really need him in the end, because if you are collecting Marvel's hot toys, then sooner or later you will need some Captain America to your display to have it complete. So yeah, why not start with this one, the best one so far. Yeah, so that's another pose, and as I mentioned, it's a pain to put a shield on him any way you want, but it's one of the options you have. So I thought that it would be accurate to give him shields to his hand. So why not, right? So yeah, that's how he looks, and I hope that you enjoyed this review so far. So if you did, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon. Also, you can put the like or dislike. You can also go into the comments to see if there are more people who also like this endgame cap as much as I am, and I will see you once again in different video.